Good afternoon. I'm David McCutcheon, and I teach 5th grade at Central Elementary School in Hampton Township, and we have been running a Science Olympiad for over 30 years. Over 30 years ago, 2 teachers began the program, and during the course of time, one of them left to become a principal, another retired. The program actually stopped for a year or two, and then Don Anzac, who you might meet when you apply for a grant, and I started the program up again. You might say that I am the 4th or perhaps 5th steward of Science Olympiad here at Central Elementary, and I tell you that so that you know that the program can stand the test of time and last once you get it rolling. The first thing that you would need to do when you do a program is to decide who it's for. Our program is for 4th and 5th grade. We typically have between 150, 180 students in those 2 grades, and so that's what works best for you. Many schools do 4th, 5th, and 6th grade if that 6th grade is in their elementary program. Some people do it with just one grade level. But that is the first thing that you'll have to do. What you can't do is have it be an enrichment program. We want the program to be for all students in the grade levels that you choose. In fact, the Spectroscopy Society will not help you fund it if you do it as an enrichment program. So please keep that in mind. But once you figure out who you're going to do it for, then you need to figure out how long. And by how long, I mean how many days are you going to do it? How many events do you need during the course of those days? And how long those events will be. Our events are 30 minutes each. We built in a 5-minute time for them to travel afterwards so that they get the whole 30 minutes. Our program is 4 days long. We have the first day is an entire day of team building, which I will talk to you about in a little bit. And then the last 3 days are all Olympiad events. We have over 40 events that we do during the course of those 3 days. The schedule is the next thing that you would need to figure out. Our team organization day sets up that schedule. A lot of schools take the whole team and move them from one place to another together. We do not do that. We run our schedule a little bit more like a high school schedule, where 2 or 3 people from one team go to this event, 2 or 3 people from that team will go to that event, and so on. If they are not scheduled for one of our competitive events, then we have several non-competitive events for them to go to during that time period. We pay for one group to come in, Lab Rats, and their information is on our PDF. I recommend them highly. They run every day, every half an hour, the same program that we can run our kids through. And they also do an assembly for our whole school at the end. We have parents come to help us with this. They do presentations on how they use science in their world. We've had doctors, physical therapists, personal trainers, chemists, and once we even had a NASA engineer come and present. And we have some non-competitive events that we've created and that parents run for us. We have an optical illusion station, a Bernoulli's principal station. We bought a leaf blower for that and are pretty excited. And we have 2 iPad apps that we alternate since we do a 2-year cycle. The one is called RubeWorks, and they do Rube Goldberg experiments, and the other is a frog dissection app. It's very cool. The kids get to dissect it, and there's no smell involved. Both cost a little bit of money, but they are well worth it. One of the other things that I wanted to mention about our teams is that we try and split them up over the 4th and 5th grade so that we have a combination of, say, the perfect team would be 4 boys and 4 girls, 4 4th graders and 4 5th graders, and a group of highly motivated students along with a few students that maybe struggle a little bit in science, so that every team has an equal chance to go. In addition to guest speakers, we have parent volunteers that come and help us run stations, as well as high school students. Those are our favorite. They come back wearing their old elementary t-shirt. Some of them struggle to squeeze back into that, but we always enjoy when they can come. I mentioned the team building day before, so we spend an entire day where they are with their team and don't go anywhere else, because during the course of the rest of the Olympiad, they're split up from their team most of the time. We do all kinds of events when we do team building. Some are physical events. We play ultimate with a gator ball because they can't throw a frisbee. We do an aeronautics event, which is essentially playing catch with a tennis ball using bed sheets. Others are more cerebral events. We have a mousetrap, a big pictured mousetrap with 24 sections to it, and they get scrambled and the kids have to put them together. Whatever you choose for your team building, I would encourage you to think real hard to make sure it's not just another event, but one where the entire team has to work together. For us, it's a fantastic experience to watch how they work together, and usually by the end of team building day, we can tell which teams are going to do really well because of how well they work on that. The most important thing that we want you to get out of this is that we're here to help you. It can look awful daunting at first. If you come and see one of our Olympiads and you run around and think, oh my, I could never do it, trust me, you can. It's not as hard as it looks, and we are absolutely here to help. Many of the events are a little or no cost to you whatsoever, and those that do cost things, the Spectroscopy Society would love to help you do that. We run a Jeopardy station with an old Jeopardy game that I'm not sure you can even buy anymore. And it works great for us, but there's a million of those online now where you can just download the program on your computer, you plug in questions from your curriculum, and voila, you have one of our most enjoyable experiences for the kids, and it's completely free to you, and it has everything to do with your curriculum. I went through the list of our 40 events and just started taking notes. Aerodynamics is one of our events, and you need paper for that. Barge Building is one of the events, and you need foil for that. I'm going to show you that one in a little bit. Armor for an egg and naked egg drop, you need eggs, tape, and paper. Bottle music, you need the bottles, but just have your friends go out, and it always helps if you have the same size bottle. Calculator contest, you get the calculators from your math teacher and away you go. Coffee can racers, we have kids bringing in coffee cans all the time, and they make them at home. They will need a hanger and a soap bottle top, but they will get all that stuff at home, and all you'll need really is to give them the directions. I keep a bunch of coffee cans available for them because I know that that's not the most common way to drink coffee anymore, but other than that, it's pretty free for you too. And they build that one at home, which is fabulous. Name that scientist. We just have a bunch of cards with all of their information on it, and the kids have to figure out who that is. You have to print out the cards with the information. Paper rockets, again, we're talking about paper. Pentathlon, you're getting things from your PE teacher, and they are running from event to event answering questions. All of these you can do for, less than $100 total, not each, total. And some of the other events have to have an initial investment, like we have a science bowl that is not entirely unlike our Jeopardy game, and you need a buzzer system for that. But once you have the buzzer system, the game just keeps going, and you don't ever have to add anything to it, and the Spectroscopy Society would be able to get you that. We do medals for each of our events. We have a first place medal, a second place medal, and a third place medal. But you could do ribbons. We do trophies for the top 3 teams. We usually have 22 to 24 teams, and the top 3 get trophies. Again, these things are not necessary. We've been doing it a long time. We can raise the money. We can do that. But when you're starting out, you can do ribbons that you print on your machine. I would encourage you to acknowledge those people that win each event. It's very exciting. We take them to our gym, and we play the Olympic theme and the big speakers in the gym, and the kids get excited when they hear their names called, and that's a lot of fun. But honestly, it doesn't have to be a bot medal or a bot trophy. So I'm going to take you through a couple of the events and then just chat with you real briefly before we go, and that'll be our day. Thank you so much. Each one of our events, we have everything in a bin. This is Bridge Building. We have these signs that are outside the door when the kids come in so that they can find everything nice and easy based on their schedule. And inside of each bin is a folder for the teacher or the parent or the high school student, whoever's running that event. And inside of that folder will be the directions on what they're supposed to do. In this event for Bridge Building, every kid or every team, a group of 2, is going to come and they're going to get a bag, and inside that bag is a pin cushion with 20 pins and all of these straws, and then they're going to be given an eraser. And what they have to do is build a bridge between 2 chairs that'll hold at least one of these erasers. And the farthest it goes, the furthest bridge that can still hold the eraser will win that event. And so everything that we have is in here, and we spend all year long refilling these. After Science Olympiad is over, we will spend the next school year during the first semester making sure that we have 24 bags that have 50 straws and 20 pins and enough erasers for every team. So we do that during the course of the year, and so on that day, the parent can come in, the set of directions are right there, it explains to them exactly what they have to do, and they can get set up in about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we send the kids to them, about 8 teams at a time, and they will come and run Bridge Building. So this is Name That Scientist, and again we have the sign for outside, the directions on the inside. These we give them a paper to study with 50 scientists on them. We tell them absolutely nothing about those 50 scientists. They have to do all the research on their own. I have study guides for several of the more cerebral kind of events. They have to use those, study those, and know them when they come. They are not allowed to bring the study guide. The only exception to that is Name That Scientist, because we give them a list of 50 scientists, and then they do the research. So they have to go home and Google it, and they can bring in only that paper with their own handwritten notes on there, and then they go around, and we have a card for each of those scientists, and it has a picture of them, not a live picture obviously, and a little blurb about who they are, and then 4 possibilities. This one is Galileo, and it talks about him being an astronomer and all of that. And had they done their research, they would be able to find his name on the paper with who he was, and then they would be able to figure that out. So this is Name That Scientist. Again, this is a virtual no cost to you. You do have to come up with the scientists and the blurb and the questions, but there's really nothing to buy. We put them on just typical manila folders that come in all kinds of different colors, so not manila in this case. And but it's a no-cost event. It takes a little time to create, but once it's created every year, it goes back in the bin. There's nothing even to refurbish in this event. So if you're looking for an event that you can use every year without a whole lot of work and no cost, this is the one that you want. Okay, this is reflection relay. This is a lot of fun. The kids really like that. These numbers or some other targets will be placed around the room, and then one of the teachers or high school students running the event will stand in a dark room and use the laser, and they will point this laser straight ahead. And then the 3 students on each team will come in, and they will each get one of these little mirrors. And so the first one has to stand about 20 feet away from the teacher with the laser, and then they take the mirror and move it. They have to have their mirror adjusted so that the laser hits off of their mirror onto their partner's mirror somewhere else in the room, who then has to take it and move their mirror so that it goes to the third partner in the room, and that third partner then needs to move the mirror to have the laser hit the target hanging from the ceiling. They get timed on this event, and the team that gets all 3 targets in the shortest amount of time will win this event. It's a lot of fun. The kids fight to get into this one, and we always enjoy watching it happen too. All right, so this is the naked egg drop, and when they get to the naked egg drop, their team of 2 will get a stack of 10 papers. They'll get 1 meter of masking tape. Actually, we've kind of gotten away from the masking tape and we use painter's tape because it's easier to find and it's a little bit more durable than any masking tape you can find. They'll get a pair of scissors and 1 egg, and literally we mean 1 egg. If they drop their egg while they're practicing because they're not careful, we don't give them another one, which kind of is rough for them. And so what they do is in naked egg drop, they have to take the 10 pieces of paper and create something because we're going to drop the egg from a height down into their contraption. And if the egg stands and is complete without breaking, then we'll raise it up a 1/2 meter. And then we'll raise it up a 1/2 meter again, and we'll keep going until it breaks. And obviously, the higher you go, the better you have a chance to win. We have another event besides naked egg drop called Armor for an Egg, and we don't let them be in both egg events. So that's something that I'll talk about in just a second. But in Armor for an Egg, instead of dropping it into a contraption, we drop it from a height, but they have to build something around the egg, and then we test the egg once it happens. Both egg events are very, very popular in our Science Olympiad. So for barge building, this is a pretty simple event. We have tubs that we fill full of water, and the kids are given a 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter piece of foil, and then they decide how they're going to build that. That foil needs to float in the water. Some of them build it a little smaller with higher sides, thinking that the water won't come over. Some like to have it as far apart as they can to get as much surface area on the water, whatever they decide to do. And then when they're ready, there's a time limit for them to do that. But if they get done ahead of time, they can alert a judge, and then the judge has to come and watch as they put 1 penny in at a time. It's really key that they don't just drop it in. That would be difficult. But it's entirely up to them, and they put in 1 penny at a time. And they keep count of that. That's why the judge is watching them all the time. And as they do that, the penny that causes it to sink does not count in their evaluation. And obviously the team with the most pennies, while still having a floating device, a floating barge as it would, wins this event. So this too is a pretty popular one. Anything to deal with water always gets them excited. So this is one of our most exciting events. Kids seem to love it all the time. A couple things that I didn't tell you at the beginning. One is our students can get through about 10 of the 40 events a year. And so when we keep their schedules for 4th grade, when they move on to 5th grade, we give them their schedules back. They are not allowed to do those same 10 events the following year. They can't do any of those, so they get a different experience. When you roll through our PDF, you'll see our schedule, and you will see a lot of the events are colored, and they cannot do 2 of the same colored events during the course of the year. I mentioned that with naked egg drop and Armor for an Egg. If they're in one of those egg drop events, they can't be in a different one, the other one of the egg drops, simply because we want to give them as wide of an experience as possible. We have a whole lot of physical events where they are moving and doing things like the barge building and the bridge building and the naked egg drop, and you saw Megan's straw tower. We have one where we use literally straws and pins, kind of like bridge building over there. And so we have a lot of those hands-on experiences. And we also have the Name That Scientist and Jeopardy and Science Bowl, where it's a little bit more of the thinking and studying experiences. And we want the kids to have a wide variety of experiences. So I just wanted to point those things out to you. Listen, again, I know that this can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. And when you look at our schedule and you say, oh my gosh, how could I do that? Truthfully, it's not as bad as you think. And I would love it, we all would love it, if you would reach out to us. Frankly, it makes us feel important, and we kind of like that. And so we will help you, we'll walk you through it step by step. It's a great opportunity for your kids. They will love it, you will love it. It'll be the most rewarding thing that you do in science all year long. I think I speak for all of the speakers when I tell you our kids look forward to this event more than any other. And it is sort of the climax of all that we do in science at the end of the year. So remember to reach out to us, ask for help, go through the PDFs, anything that you need. We will gladly help you. Have a great day. We really appreciate the fact that you're wanting to do this for you and for your students. So thanks for listening and watching, and hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.